We are making a serious economic mistake today that has destroyed countless societies in the past. Our money supply is being inflated by central banks at rates that could cause our economy to crash and civilization to fall along with it. And in this video, we'll look at how inflationary policy can be detrimental. Welcome to the Financial Flow. Please like and subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay up on our latest videos. There are various definitions for inflation. Others use it to refer to an increase in the amount of money released by a government or central bank, which is known as monetary inflation. Some people use it to refer to an increase in the overall level of prices, or what can be called price inflation. Since monetary inflation, which might be seen as the principal phenomenon, we will focus on the latter phenomenon. The Roman state pursued a program of geographical expansion during the early years of the Roman Republic, plundering the wealth of each conquered state as it expanded its own treasure. Emperor Augustus, however, ended the policy of expansion and the flow of wealth from foreign regions when he was defeated by the Germans in 9 AD. As a result, Augustus and the succeeding emperors struggled with a lack of funding. There was a limit to how much taxation could be increased without sparking a revolution. Nero in the year 64 started drafting a policy. By adding inexpensive metals like copper and clipping both gold and silver coins, or reducing their size, the extra precious metal obtained through clipping and debasing coins was then used to produce more coins. With the help of these newly minted coins, the Roman state was able to pay its debts and expenses while also lining the wallets of influential politicians and members of the political elite. The growth of supply of paper or digital money is the policy's contemporary equivalent. The outcome is the same. However, monetary inflation, whether one debases and cuts coin to produce more coins, prints more paper money, or adds digits to an account kept with a central bank. All other things being equal, when money is produced in greater quantities, this causes price inflation and a rise in the cost of living. Money that has been created does not enter the economy consistently when there is monetary inflation. It typically enters the economy first, through the hands of those with political clout. They profit from the inflation because they are able to spend the freshly minted money before it causes price increases. The state in ancient Rome profited from the lag time between the denarius depreciation and the market's recognition of its lower value. It used freshly produced, debased coins that did not reflect the rise in the money supply to pay its bills and expenses. The political class in Rome thus found a way to raise more money anytime they wished without increasing taxes. So, following Nero's lead, emperors would debase and clip coins and increase the availability of money anytime they faced a cash crunch. Wanted to grow the military, implement a new project or program, or were just looking to enlarge the state's purse. The denarius had lost half of its original silver content by the year 200 AD. The subsequent rise in prices was unavoidable. According to Harold Mattingly, the Roman state was at this point going gradually in the path of insolvency. So despite the mounting costs, the state made the decision to keep its inflationary strategy in an effort to retain the appearance of wealth. Because it could not rely on money to meet its needs, the state began to use forced labor in the latter part of the 3rd century. Alternatively, in order to avoid having to accept its worthless coins, the state began to collect taxes in the form of supplies that could be used directly by the military and other branches of government, such as bullion. The American historian Otto Frederick referred to what transpires in a society when its monetary system is gradually destroyed by inflation and explained: all governance, society, and standards would become meaningless if all money lost its value. In ancient Rome, this social order disintegration was plain to see. The Roman state was unable to pay parties of military deserters, so they roamed the countryside, plundering small villages and farms between the years 235 and 284 AD. A Roman emperor's rule typically lasted a few months, and there were once 30 distinct men vying for the top position. There were several civil wars. Population loss occurred. In the areas that were still under Roman rule, lawlessness predominated. In 301 AD, an effort was made to control the quickly rising cost of goods. In an era of inflation, the Emperor Diocletian made the error that so many leaders did. He attempted to address the issue by enacting price restrictions for products like wheat and other needs, refusing to admit that monetary inflation policies adopted by the state were the primary cause of rising costs. These pricing limits, however, resulted in shortages, the demise of merchants, and a crippling trade between the various parts of Rome. According to Lactantius, a member of the Emperor Constantine's council, simple need resulted in the revocation of the law. Diocletian once thought of giving these coins some worth again, but there weren't enough silver and gold reserves in the state to do so. Diocletian and the emperors who came after him felt powerless in the face of enormous expenditures and expanding debt, so they continued to pursue an inflationary policy. The governments don't know when or how to quit. Much like when you first start using certain substances, you don't know when to stop or how to stop. In the early half of the 4th century, hyperinflation began to take hold as a result of the state's protracted inflationary policies. A modus of wheat, a roughly 9 liters, was a regular market price of half a denarius in the 2nd century. In 335 AD, the same variety of wheat was for sale, for more than 6,000 denarii, and for more than 10,000 in 338. By 363, the solidas was worth 30 million denarii. Any denarii savings that commoners may have had were essentially worthless. Since those who could not pay their taxes were imprisoned, some families either sold their children into slavery or abandoned their houses and belongings. When discussing inflation, we shouldn't ignore the risk that depriving the general public of their savings may drive them to despair. Farmers started to rely on the following harvest. Whatever crops were imported were sold right away to pay the taxes. They borrowed money from their neighbors, went hungry, or were imprisoned by the state if they were raided by barbarians, if droughts or locusts damaged their harvest. Surprisingly, farmers were the first to suffer during the times of famine, frequently swarming to cities with grain reserves. The political elite sensed their influence eroding and were frantic as a result of the rising anarchy, discontent, and revolution. The state became increasingly autocratic, increased taxes, and continued to inflate the currency, despite widespread poverty and famine. The continuous state exploitation had, however, left the peasantry too devastated by the 5th century. Many peasants were apathetic about the end of Roman control, because the advantage of empire had dropped so sharply, while others actively sided with the invaders. Both the Roman Empire's legitimacy and its ability to endure were destroyed. The issue of the empire's own existence was beyond its ability to resolve. Lessons from Rome's history are frequently overlooked but are nonetheless crucial. One of these lessons is that playing with fire can easily get out of control and result in economic catastrophe, revolt, or even complete social collapse when a government or banking elite asserts the right to extend the amount of money without restrictions. The only way to safeguard against the risk of monetary inflation program is to remove government and central bank authority over money. People's interactions while freely exchanging goods and services on the market must produce generally accepted types of money that are uncontrollable by either a person or an institution. The most widely accepted and used form of trade is money, which is something that is produced by market participants who purchase and sell goods and services. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Have a good one.